Alright guys, welcome to a 2000% talkthrough of Amascut. This is from the DPS perspective, and we have lots of Super Brews, a Hellhound, a Grimoire, but I do have Tectonic, most importantly, because damage is important here. I've also got a Blackstone Arrow switch for just reducing the defense of the boss, as well as giving me a bunch of Adrenaline when used in conjunction with Tsunami for the crits. So we jump on in. Maniacal Aura, by the way, is really good. Really good. It sounds scary, but it isn't. But essentially here, we're just doing a full-on Sunshine rotation. Not really much to talk about. You do want to make sure you've got your Exsanguinate stacks building up, though, because you do want to build up to Rack and Ruin, which you're going to use a bit later on one of the big crocodiles that spawn. But yeah, all of this stuff, not too spooky. You're just kind of killing the boss, and you get these scarabs fairly near the beginning, which for our strat, we actually just ignore them completely, and we just make sure we have 100% adren near when they're filling up, and then just do a cheeky barricade, and then you're fine. And if you wear your Turtling 4 for an extended cade, it'll also absorb this attack here. The screen went blue, which means it's a triple mage attack. If it's green, it's triple range. If it's red, it's triple melee. That's going to be very important later on, and especially in Phase 7, which we will, of course, get to later. The base has a lot more to deal with than the DPS, and it looks really painful, and if you are the base of your team, I'm a little bit sorry, because, yeah, honestly, like, poor Blick over there, like, whew. But either way, 1 minute 20 in, this gorilla spawns on the side. You want to blast it as quickly as you possibly can, and then at the same time, this crocodile comes out. So me and the base tank here, we are both staying outside. One of us gets a virus, which happened to be him this time. He's got to pass it to me. Then I've got to go in the realm and pass it to these guys. Because the virus, it hits you every few ticks. And if it hits you 8 times, then you just insta-die. Like, you can't prevent it. So you have to pass it. But that crocodile there, we used the Rack and Ruin on. Well, I was supposed to use Rack and Ruin, but Blick actually did a ton of damage. But yeah, inside those rooms there are some chains, and you have to kill the chains, and when a chain dies, you may have seen that statue get all glowy and fancy. Essentially, you kill a chain, the guy outside presses the statue, you do that 3 times, then you can carry the light of Tumakan back to the statue, and then it will stun the boss for a while, and you get to do it onto the next side here as well. So these are the chains, 50k HP each, so kill them all down. I'm not the Tumakan guy, but what I am is this guy over here. So I am dealing with this crocodile. This guy comes out to help me as well. And you see that bar on this guy's head? He's got to get to the statue before that bar runs out. If he doesn't make it in time, then he's got to do all of it again. And there really isn't time to do that. So it's a one and done. You've got to do it right first try. That's quite good. Prisms of Salvation can help, which allow you to teleport a short distance. You can see a prism by the statue up there. If you click on it, when you're nearby, you get teleported to it, which does save a few squares because you're not allowed to use movement abilities when you're carrying Tumakan either. Once you've done that, though, the boss goes down, and you get a little bit of time to free DPS before just various waves begin. You know, a lot of soul splitting here, especially with the Hellhound. It absorbs a lot of damage. And yeah, you got like Nakatra style waves here that you have to dodge. Not too bad. So you just do that all the time, and then it will say tear them apart, and that will spawn these scarabs, which you can dive to all of these and squish them before they spawn. Your dive resets when you squish one. But for the rest of them, just like Greater Chain or Threads of Fate, you got to stun them and then kill them. But it's very important we get all of those down here, otherwise we will get a little bit exploded. We would do the Cade strat again here, but the base needs Cade for something else, I think. I forget why. But that, as you saw, the screen turned red. That was a nice little triple melee attack there, which you can do a nice reflect, and then it's a bit like Glacier or Nakatra, where you can reflect the first 2 and resonance the third for a big heal. That's what I like to do, so I would recommend doing a bit of that. If you're a bit fancy, you could divert it as well for some extra adrenaline. But otherwise, just praying against whatever hits come at you, and then yeah, just damage. A little bit after that, you get these gorillas again, but this time they have a big shield on them. So for here, you've got to kill these scarabs that spawn, pick them up, and click where you want to throw them, which in our case is at the gorilla, and that pierces their special shell, which allows you to then damage them. And similarly to the gorilla, everything inside the portal now also has that shell. So it is my job here, after the gorilla is down, I've got to kill some scarabs and then essentially pick them up, throw them in the portal, which then the other guy can pick up and throw at the mage and all the chains. I don't know if we'll get to see what that looks like as such, but just imagine the glowy symbols. And then in we go, and it's essentially the same thing again. This time, the time is a lot tighter because of all those scarabs you have to kill. So you really want to make sure you're doing, like a metamorphosis and FSOA kind of thing in here. Because, time is very tight. We do manage it with, much more time left than we were doing initially. But it's very much sub 20 seconds left. Like, it's pretty tight. And oftentimes, it's closer to 10, maybe even less. So we kill all of those, we communicate to the guy outside that we have killed the chains, he then prays the statue. I drop a little prism for the guy to teleport to as well. And always make sure when you come out of the portal, you do like a resonance or pray mage or anything, because the waves will be invisible if they have already spawned, which is not very friendly and it can hurt a lot. But he runs Tumican up to the statue. The boss goes down a bit again, and we are on to another down phase, which you just want to do as much damage as you possibly can, because damage now is damage that you don't have to do later. That is actually why we swapped to Maniacal as well. We were using Runic Accuracy before, but Maniacal just seems to be way better, and it doesn't even hurt that much. The base, however, I'd very much recommend Runic, because Maniacal will hurt a lot, and you do not want that as the base. But as DPS, it's pretty okay. So, the boss goes down here, and then enter to the next phase. This will be phase 5, which is very different to everything. So any remaining grubs are going to be on the floor upside down, ready to explode. So we do the classic barricade. Make sure you're protected from that, otherwise you will get one shot. As you can see here, there's a statue that is glowing. I need to stand between the statue and that fragment of Tumican, and then the beam goes through me and charges that fragment. And when that's done, we can activate Tumican in the middle of the arena over there, and we can start the next part. You have to charge all of them in total. I would recommend doing one at a time, depending on the enrage. At 1k you can do 2 at a time, but at 2k you definitely want to do 1. And here I got chosen, so I have to stand in front of Amascut, the only one in front. Everyone else has to be to the side. And then you've got to resonance the big light hit that happens. If someone else other than the chosen one tanks the initial hit, you all instantly die. So it's very, very mean. So you've got to make sure you're standing up nice, close, and personal. So that's very, very important, obviously. The other important thing is all the puppies that were spawning. We'll see it more on the next round. But all the puppies that are spawning, they are not allowed to touch Tumican's light for too long. Because if they do, they will nibble a bit too much, and you also get insta-killed. Which, personally, I think is a little bit harsh. Like, I'd rather it just, undid your progress. But, yeah, if a puppy is on Tumican for too long, everybody dies. And these soul obelisks around the arena, they're not too scary. But you do want to try and keep them down. And, when Amascut is jumping around, you do want to get your chains and stuff on to damage the pillars as well. Because they do explode a little bit. They do a couple of thousand damage every now and then. But yeah, they're not too scary, but do try and get them below full HP. And here we have the puppies, which we have to make sure we kill. It's me first again, so I'm going to make sure I get all the way over here. Nice and in front. And a resonance there or whatever I did. I don't know what I did, but I did something. Just any kind of defensive is often quite good. It only hits 5k, but you do want to be protected somehow. I would recommend Disrupt or Resonance. And then we just do all this again. And yeah, those outer statues we can do solo, but the other statues, you actually have to do it in a little group. I'm actually going to speed up the video now to 2 times, because it is essentially just the same thing over and over again. I'm going to pause the sound as well, because it sounds a bit weird at 2 times. But you see how we're having to bounce us with 2 people now instead of just the 1? That's because there's just not enough room to do these statues with 1 person. What it does let you do, however, is you get to do a little bit of damage to the dogs and help out a bit, because you are somewhat close enough. It's a bit awkward if you're the far guy. You can attack sometimes, but not always. But yeah, when you click on that Tumican in the middle, make sure you focus the puppies. It is very important, because as I said, if they nibble on Tumican in the middle, you all just die. And that is one thing they do seem to like doing at this boss, is insta-kills are everywhere. And it's a bit mean. But either way, we have the next thing on the other side, so literally exact same thing again. We'll just let it play, let it charge. There's not much else to talk about, but do make sure that Amascut is being volned and smoke clouded. Oh wait, there is one more thing, I forgot. Those green lines on the floor. Yeah, the green lines on the floor that were coming, somebody has to tank them. So when Amascut fires the lightning, 1 person has to tank it, they then get marked. If they then tank it again consecutively, they get instantly killed. So we did have 2 people running back and forth in order to alternate who was tanking those lightnings. So very, very important. It puts an icon on your buff bar if you've just tanked. It also gives you a little green aura around you as well. So do make sure that you do not tank 2 in a row, because you will die. So very important to get that synergy going on there. And then the next phase here, Amascut, after about 20 seconds, fires out a big ball. You want to DPS this thing down as much as you can, and 1 person will get chosen to go upstairs. So the in the chat box, it'll say somebody in a second. So Nutella got chosen there, and there'll be like a glowy light that only he can see. So he clicks on that light, jumps up to the platforms that are outside the arena, and we've got to communicate what symbol is on the platform upstairs, and then the guy that we have downstairs has to stand on the exact same symbol. All while dodging various squares. These squares do hurt you. So yeah, the guy up top jumping from platform to platform, and all the while we're just damaging the pillar, absorbing these fragments. There's a black bar above your head, and they will explode. It's magic damage, so you can resonance. But you do want to save your devotion and reflect. Very important that you save that for when they jump down. So right here we're going to devotion, because it's going to spawn some clones. I'm going to pause it here for a second. So we devotion. Amascut spawns some clones. Whoever was upstairs is going to have the aggro of the boss. Whoever was downstairs is going to spawn a clone each. If you are out of range of the clone, it will teleport to you and do a bunch of magic damage. Hence the Prey Mage and Devotion. Now it's very important here that the person who was tanking stays out of range of the rest of the team, because otherwise the boss will attack them and it will bounce to the DPS pile, and that's bad because that really hurts. But yeah, the DPS though, what you want to do is you want to devotion initially when they teleport, and then switch to Prey Melee. You do also want to reflect around here as well. And then it is just a case of mad AoEs, and also eat food. So there's the Prey Mage, Prey Melee. I didn't reflect it, which is kind of foolish, honestly. I should have reflected. You just want to AoE them down, chain, tsunami, so it nearly died. Threads of Fate, whatever you've got, just whack him down as quickly as you possibly can. Because they will like explode or something happens. It's messed up, whatever it is. I've got a black bar on my head, and then I think it's just that you got to run to the base or run to the boss. I don't exactly know. But if you don't, you get exploded, and it really hurts. And then after that, you want to make sure you just do a ton of damage to the boss to deplete the black shield. Any HP left in the black shield when that bottom bar depletes gets dealt to the team. So yeah, it's not too hard to deplete, but if you are missing a person, then it does get a bit tricky. And here we have 600k left, which is basically the hit cap. and then it's over to P7. So this phase is interesting. There are 4 statues, so we assign 1 person per statue, and the boss at some point is going to call out the name of a statue, and the person at the corresponding statue has to press provoke and then resonance, a big light hit. Then the light will bounce to the statue and bounce back to Amascut, and then she'll become damageable. So over there it was Atmacan, so that is this statue here. So this guy provokes and then resonances. Big light bounce, boom, boom, boom. And then that goes back, hits the boss, then we can do lots of damage. So this is where having a good statue is quite important. Because we happen to get Atmacan here. Atmacan is very friendly. It does that virus, if you remember that from phase like 1 or 2, whatever it is, where you've just got to pass the virus, and that's okay. There's also one from Het, which is even freer than that, which I think the boss just heals a bit based on damage it does, maybe? I don't exactly know. But these other ones, I'm by Scabarus. So if it's Scabarus, it spawns those bugs again. So you've got to kill the bugs, but the boss is immune during that. So you've got to kill the bugs, pick up the bugs, throw the bugs, and then you can damage the boss. So that's really annoying, and by far the worst one. So if you get that one, it kind of sucks. So I kind of hope they nerf that one a bit. It seems a little unfair. But yeah, they spawn down here and up there. And the other one, Crondis, it spawns 2 of those big crocodiles, if you remember. These hurt quite a lot. They are potentially ignorable, depending on your DPS. But they do really hurt. So if they are on you, they spawn here and here, then do beware a little bit. And then after that, boss is damageable. We actually kill this incredibly fast. But if you remember from earlier, there were those like triple attacks, which we have again. Like the sky is green, which means we need to pray range, and we're going to be dealt 3 big range attacks. So either reflex, devotion, resonance if you want, or have it debilitate, anything just to tank it. And then after that, she then spawns some squares, and she can also spawn some waves as well. Luckily, we were in a spot where none of that really mattered, but this does get a bit spooky. It can spawn waves, and it can spawn squares. So you want to make sure you surge and dive out the way of the squares. If you dodge successfully, your dive and surges get reset, which is very important, because you'll have to do a lot of that. And otherwise, if the phase is still going, you'll have multiple of these, you know, range, mage, or melee attacks. And the waves that come out, if you think of the arena as in like 3 segments, one of those segments will be safe. And if it does a secondary wave attack, that same segment will be safe every time for that attack cycle. So let's say it's this like middle section that is the safe one. You know, it does that, you know, you stand there, you're safe, you then dodge the next part, you're fine. It does the waves again, the same part will be safe. But that is kind of about it. After a little while, it will choose another statue, and then you got to do the provoke and resonance thing again. But that is about it. So I think it's time to turn the volume up and listen to the celebratory noises of your boy Wazzy and his team, who finally got a kill after quite a while, but hey, it's good to be done, and I hope this video was useful in imparting knowledge to you guys as well. But yeah, it's a really fun boss. I hope you guys are enjoying it, and best of luck on your drops.
There's no...
And that's it.
Yes,
It's so easy! It's so easy!
Sleep buff.
Oh, long last.
Sleep.
It
What
is
is
so
sleep buff?
easy. Sleep buff is OP. Sleep buff is very OP. Good job, everyone. Literally first try on a new day. Everyone lived. Perfect.
I'm just gonna say I sharded my weapons.
Honestly, perfect.
Are you saying?